Of the House State Government Committee. We welcome you here today. Again, just I always remind you, if you have your cell phones on you, please make sure they're on silent if you can. We will be ready to begin, and the Secretary will call the roll. Go right ahead, ma'am.
Okay. Representative Bojanowski?
Here.
Representative Bowling? Here. Representative Bratcher? Representative Chester Burton? Representative Duvall?
Here.
Representative Graham?
Here.
Representative Heath?
Here.
Representative Heverin? Here. Representative Herron? Representative Hodgson?
Here.
Representative Huff?
Here.
Representative Johnson?
Here.
Representative Maddox? Representative Rawlings?
Here.
Representative Tate? Representative Tipton? Representative Williams?
Here.
Representative Witten? Representative Imes?
Here.
Representative Hale?
Here. We do have a quorum today, and we are duly constituted to do business this afternoon. I know you were handed an agenda, but we are going to have to deviate from that just a little bit today. We have some people that needs to come in and out of some of the meetings and get to other committee meetings. So the first item on our agenda today is going to be House Bill 587. And I think Representative Rudy is going to come and present House Bill 587. Representative Rudy, come forward, and the floor will be yours after you introduce yourself and the guest that is with you. May introduce himself.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the committee. I am Representative Stephen Rudy, 1st House District.
Motion on the bill.
Well, I said it would take 35 or 40 seconds, but we do have a question. Representative Bojanowski, would you please, you may go ahead, ma'am.
Yes. Could you please explain what the bill does?
Yes. House Bill 587, I have J.D. Cheney with me, the Executive Director of the Kentucky League of Cities. Ensures transparency, removes concerns about potential collusion and interference by amending the direct reporting structure of the internal audit to report directly to the KPPA board, as opposed to where it is now just going to the director or the director itself. So this is the board is comprised of both county CERS and KRS systems. So these internal audits will now go to the board itself instead of just the individuals. It's about transparency.
Representative Graham, did you have a question, sir? Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Cheney, do you have anything you'd like to add?
No,
Please
Mr. Chairman.
Identify yourself.
J.D. Cheney, Executive Director, CEO of the Kentucky League of Cities. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for hearing the bill.
Thank you all very much. We do have a motion, and there was a second, correct? We do have a motion and a second on this particular bill. Is there any other discussion or question? Seeing no further questions, Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll at this time?
Representative Bojanowski?
Yes.
Representative Bowling?
Yes.
Representative Bratcher? Representative Chester Burton?
If you could record my attendance, and the answer is yes.
Representative Duvall? Representative Graham? Yes. Representative Heath?
Yes.
Representative Heverin?
Yes.
Representative Herron? Representative Hodgson?
Yes.
Representative Huff?
Yes.
Representative Imes?
Yes.
Representative Johnson?
Yes.
Representative Maddox?
Yes.
Representative Rawlings?
Yes.
Representative Tate?
Yes.
Representative Tipton?
Yes.
Representative Williams?
Yes.
Representative Witten? Representative Hale?
Yes. Motion passes with 16 yes votes, 0 no votes. The bill passes with favorable expression. Should do the same on the House floor. Gentlemen, thank you all today.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the committee, and I would be remiss if I didn't say our good friend Representative Weber, who is the primary sponsor of this bill, is in Senate committee right now presenting another, and that's why he asked me to fill in for him. Thank you all.
Thank you all. Thank both of you very much. Moving on to the second item on the agenda today, we are going to hear at this time House Bill 329 presented to us by Representative Mark Hart. Representative Hart, would you come to the table, please? and introduce yourself. And
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Representative Markhart, 78th House District.
Mr. Chairman, Eric Lykin, General Counsel for the House Majority Leadership Office.
Thank you, gentlemen, today for being with us. Representative Hart, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, sir. House Bill 329, it's a bill that would put a little bit of teeth, so to speak, into the Government Contract Review Committee. The Government Contract Review Committee is a statutory committee that's required to meet once a month to review all the government contracts that come before the state. And a lot of times when we make recommendations, we can be overridden by the Secretary of the Finance Cabinet. So a lot of times our recommendations are completely ignored. So this legislation is an effort to put some teeth into that, to where our recommendations will have a little bit more meaning than just rhetoric. And I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Likens right now and let him explain to you the technical aspects of the bill.
This bill is a follow-up to House Bill 388 that passed the General Assembly last session. It fixes an interpretation issue from a court case where the Circuit Court found that contracts dealing with specifically enumerated constitutional provisions empowering the governor, the interpretation was that those are automatically canceled if the Finance Cabinet Secretary or the Treasurer didn't approve the revisions. So we're going to come back and fix that so that any contract that is necessary for a specifically enumerated gubernatorial power will continue to go back to the Finance Cabinet Secretary. Other contracts will go to the Treasurer, and the Treasurer will make the decision. And this bill makes absolutely clear that the recommendation of the committee is non-binding on the executive branch, and that the executive branch retains the final say in the exercise of contracting authority.
Motion on the bill.
We have a motion and a second, but before we go that way, Representative Bojanowski, you have a question, ma'am. Proceed.
Okay, so I'm trying to dig into this and understand it. And I understand you're saying it has more teeth, but what it ultimately has is it's more control, because then the Finance Cabinet can either issue the contract with the treasurer's revisions or can cancel the contract, correct? So there's no option that if the Finance Cabinet disagrees with the recommendations that they could maintain a contract.
Well, if they disagree with the treasurer's determination, that's correct.
Mm-hmm. So how is this not, I mean, I know you said that the certain parts that are under constitutionally for the governor, how is this not upending decisions that the governor might make?
It gives it an extra set of eyes in the executive branch on a contract, so that the governor, you're correct, would not be the exclusive say in certain contracts. That there's another independent officer that takes a look at those contracts and follows or considers the Government Contract Review Committee's recommendations.
May I just briefly?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead, please.
Okay. So if the committee decides that it's inappropriate to deal with California in business, they could effectively make the decision that any contracts with in California would not be approved. Would that be correct?
No, Representative. The committee could make that recommendation, but the decision that would go then to the treasurer or to the Finance Cabinet, depending on the nature of the contract.
Okay. Thank you.
Representative Graham.
Are there any other states that has this measure in place?
I do not know, sir. This is obviously contract review has been on the books. House Bill 388 was passed last session, and now, given a court interpretation that has enjoined House Bill 388, we have to come back and fix it.
But I'm talking about the fixing and how it's going to be set up that you just explained to Representative Bojanowski. Are there any other states that go in this method? Is that what you've gotten the idea from, or what?
I do not know that information.
Okay. I have a problem with the bill. For over the last 3 years, we've been taking power away from the executive branch of government, from the chief executive elected governor, who is the highest elected official in the Commonwealth. And the people of the Commonwealth have provided him the opportunity to serve as governor. And what we have seen over the last 3 years is eroding or trying to erode the power that the executive branch has. In terms of the executive branch, I'm talking about the governor. And I think the finance director represents the entire state, obviously, and so does the treasurer, but he is the key financial officer for the executive branch of government. And I think this is the wrong path to take. And I'm not just talking about right now, but in the future, if all of these acts that we have passed over the last 3 years to prevent him and tie up his hands in terms of doing his job, what the people of the Commonwealth have asked him to do, then it's going to be a very difficult, down the stretch, we're going to find major problems. And I suspect, though, that if he's not there, which he will be, but when he's not there, all of this will change back to the way it was, the possibility, depending upon which party is in control. So this is not healthy for this institution or the institution of the executive branch of government, trying to take away the power that from the very beginning they've had that responsibility. Every governor, whether they were Republican or Democrat, had the responsibility of carrying out these duties. And so I'm going to vote no against the bill. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Representative Chester Burton, go right ahead, ma'am.
Thank you, Chairman. Some of the comments that Representative Graham made, I wholeheartedly agree with as it relates to the executive branch versus the legislative branch. My other concern is that when I think about the committee having the say as to whether or not contracts should go forward or not, I also think about conflicts of interest. So how do we know, or how can we be assured that committee members that may be familiar with the contracts or the contracts that are approved do not have any type of connection in order to make those contracts be approved or unapproved?
Well, Representative, I would think that would fall under the ethics code, the
I
legislative
agree.
ethics code, just as any conflicts of interest within the executive branch would fall under the executive branch ethics code.
Agreed. Okay.
Is there any other discussion? Representative Tipton, go right ahead, sir.
Let's go back in history a little bit to the last days of the Governor Steve Beshear administration. On last day, there's a contract signed with Kentucky Wired that changed increased the exposure of the Commonwealth of Kentucky and their citizens from like 40 million to 1.5 billion. Would this, if it had this provision been in place, would that be a situation where this process could have stepped in and said, no, that's not the wisest thing for our citizens?
Yes, Representative, that would be the case.
Any other discussion or questions? Seeing no further discussion or questions, we do have a motion and a second on the bill. Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll at this time?
Representative Bojanowski,
No.
Representative Bowling,
Yes.
Representative Bratcher, Representative Chester Burton,
No.
Representative Duvall, Representative Graham,
No.
Representative Heath,
Yes.
Representative Heverin, Representative Herron, Representative Hodgson,
Aye.
Representative Huff,
Yes.
Representative Imes,
Yes.
Representative Johnson,
Yes.
Representative Maddox,
Yes.
Representative Rawlings,
Yes.
Representative Tate, Representative Tipton,
Yes.
Representative Williams,
Yes.
Representative Witten, Representative Hale.
Yes. The motion on House Bill 329 passes with 13 yes votes, 3 no votes. The motion passes with favorable expressions. Should do the same on the House floor. Thank you, Representative Hart, Mr. Lykin. As Representative Tipton stated in his comments, this is something that if we would have had in place, we would not have had that situation happen prior. So thank you for bringing this forward this afternoon. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee.
The third item on our agenda today is going to be House Bill 387, Representative Samara Hebron. Representative Hebron, would you please make your way to the table? And after your introduction, you may proceed.
Good morning. Good afternoon, whatever time it is. I am Samara Heffron. I'm the 18th District State Representative. I represent all of Grayson County and a portion of Hardin County. House Bill 387. So as most of you all know, we split the committees this past session. It used to be Health and Welfare or Health and Family Services. It is now we have Health Services and Family and Children Committee. And so what this bill does, it simply breaks it apart for the interim joint committee hearings. And so it just would put that in statute.
There has been a motion on the bill and a second. Is there any discussion on this specific measure? Seeing none, Madam Secretary, please call the roll at this time.
Representative Bojanowski,
Yes.
Representative Bowling, Representative Bratcher, Representative Chester Burton,
Yes.
Representative Duvall, Representative Graham,
Yes.
Representative Heath,
Yes.
Representative Hebron,
Yes.
Representative Herron, Representative Hodgson,
All right.
Representative Huff,
Yes.
Representative Imes,
Yes.
Representative Johnson,
Yes.
Representative Maddox,
Yes.
Representative Rawlings,
Yes.
Representative Tate,
Yes.
Representative Tipton, Representative Williams,
Yes.
Representative Witten, Representative Hale.
Yes. The motion on this bill passes with 16 favorable votes, 0 no votes. It passes with favorable expression. Should do the same on the House floor. Thank you, Representative Hebron, for your time today.
Thank you, Chairman.
I know we have somewhat went out of order today, but I've tried to accommodate the bill sponsors to give them chances to move from this meeting to other meetings that they need to attend. And I have asked Representative Heath if he would proceed. He has another meeting he needs to get to in just a few moments. Representative Heath, would you please make your way to the table and introduce yourself? And then we will proceed from there.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Richard Heath, representative for District 2.
Representative Heath, I think there is a committee sub to your bill today. Would you like to explain that at this time for us?
Yes, please. I'll refer you to item 3 on the bill, the very last 2.5 sentences, that it says nothing in this section shall prohibit an existing foreign-owned business located within the Commonwealth from purchasing adjacent agriculture land in order to expand the operation of the business. And I'll give you a specific example. In my end of the state, there was a paper mill that was very successful at one time, but stayed closed for several years. The Chinese company bought it, and they make cardboard stock for making boxes. And there's about 400 employees there. And if that paper mill should choose to expand, they would need to buy additional farmland to expand that operation. So this committee sub would allow them to do that.
There has been a motion on the committee sub, and there has been a second. Is there any discussion on the sub? There appears to be no discussion on the sub. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, likewise? And the motion on the sub carries. Is there any discussion now on House Bill 500 as amended by the committee substitute? Representative Bojanowski.
Yes. Could you speak briefly on the potential impact that this bill could have on economic development?
Yes, and I was going to cover that in my remarks, but I can cover it question by question if you'd like. So we already have manufacturers in Kentucky. Toyota, for example, are some of those, and then other individuals they own agriculture industries in Kentucky. We have European ownership of some of our largest thoroughbred horse farms. So Kentucky is right for foreign investment, and we do not want anything to dissuade that. So this bill is not intended to hinder economic development and economic growth. It is designed to prevent countries, and let me read the countries that are on the list real quick, if you don't mind. So the nations that are currently on the list, and the bill refers you to 22 CFR section 126.1, and the reason we do that is the list could change from time to time. So as long as we continue to use the same list to find out what countries are considered hostile by our federal government to U.S. interest, then that's the list that we'll use. So currently on that list is Belarus, Burma, China, Cuba, Iran, North Korea, Syria, and Venezuela. And those are the countries that would currently be directly impacted by this.
We have Representative Tipton up next, and then we'll come to you, Representative Graham. Representative Tipton, go ahead, sir.
Chair Heath, what's the definition of agricultural land as it refers to this legislation?
So I didn't take the time to look that up, but you'll find that in 7 U.S.C. section 3508.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I do have a follow-up, Mr. Chair.
Yes, please go ahead, sir.
Many of you know I'm a licensed real estate broker. Individual comes to see me or any of our real estate agents in the state wanting to look at farmland. How's this provision going to be enforced? How would, because somebody signs a contract, goes to closing, and sign deed, how would this be enforced?
Mm-hmm. That's a good question. And again, refer you back to the bill that is designed for line 2. So I'll skip down to the part, but notwithstanding any other provisions of law to the contrary or on after the effective date of this act, a non-residential alien, foreign business, agent, trustee, or fiduciary associated with the government or any prescribed country that's referenced in that 22 CFR. Now, as far as, I guess, your question is as far as trying to, control it or police it, for lack of a better term, I'm not sure how that would be done. I hadn't thought about that, just to be perfectly honest with you.
If I could add a comment.
Yes.
I'm trying to remember. There's a form I've seen in the past that would, for somebody who is a non-resident alien, just to identify that. Might be worthwhile a conversation with Kentucky Association of Realtors.
Okay.
And just to vet that issue.
Yes.
And see how it could be enforced. Just a thought, Mr. Chairman.
Appreciate the input.
Representative Graham, go ahead, sir. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Are there any other questions from any of the members? Okay, I will. Before we, I do have a question, Representative Heath.
Yes.
Are there has this been implemented, legislation such as this been passed in other states across the country?
Yes, in fact, there's 14 other states that have already taken similar action, all the way from Maine to California. And one of the things driving this is, you've probably seen in the news in the not so distant past, there was attempts made in Texas and North Dakota to buy large tracts of agriculture land that joined the Army bases in those states. And of course, Kentucky has, I said Army base, Air Force bases in Texas and in North Dakota, but Kentucky has 2 Army bases. So the same security risk would apply to us if a foreign-owned company that is not friendly to the U.S. decides to come and buy land. And it's not just those 2. I'll give you a few more. So here's a list of some of the potential sites in Kentucky that foreign countries might find of interest. Fort Campbell, Fort Knox, the Bluegrass Army Depot, Paducah Gases Fusion Plant in my end of the state. And there may be some others, but those are top of mind awareness.
Representative Heath, the farther you go, it seems like the applause is getting louder. So there must be a lot of support for your legislation.
I agree.
This afternoon. That's kind of just to lighten everybody up a little bit today. But is there a motion on the bill? There is a motion, and there is a second on House Bill 500 as amended by the committee substitute. If there seeing no further discussion, Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Representative Bojanowski,
Pass.
Representative Bowling, Representative Bratcher, Representative Chester Burton,
Yes.
Representative Duvall, Representative Graham,
I'm going to pass, but I'll try to talk to the sponsor afterwards. Thank you.
Representative Heath,
Yes.
Representative Heverin.
Yes, quickly comment.
Yes.
I do. Representative James Allen Tipton brought up some great concerns. I'm going to vote yes to get it out of committee, but I would like to see more information about the enforcement of this. Thank you.
Representative Herron, Representative Hodgson,
All right.
Representative Huff,
Yes.
Representative Imes,
Yes.
Representative Johnson,
Yes.
Representative Maddox,
Pass.
Representative Rawlings,
Yes.
Representative Tate, Representative Tipton, Representative Williams,
Can I explain my vote?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, please.
I think, Representative Heath, this is a national security issue, and I think that those specific countries that you've identified, that the federal government have identified, mean ill harm to this country, and I believe you're doing the right thing in doing it, and I wholeheartedly support it. My vote is yes.
Representative Witten, Representative Hale.
Yes. On House Bill 500, there are 13 yes votes and 3 pass votes. The motion on the bill passes with favorable expressions, should do the same on the House floor. Thank you, Representative Heath. Item number 5 on our agenda, I am going to step to the table, and my co-chair, Representative Imes, is going to assume the role as the chair.
The next item on the agenda is House Bill 357, sponsored by Representative Hale, an act to revise and correct the Kentucky Revised Statutes. Introduce yourself, Chairman Hale, and you may proceed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I am State Representative David Hale from District 74. Ladies and gentlemen of the committee, in my 9 years here, Representative Graham, this is probably going to be the most exciting bill that you have ever heard in your tenure. It is 344 pages. It has 150 sections. There are 300 statute wording changes over that in this legislation. And trust me, I went through every one of them just to make sure there was nothing there that was not supposed to be there. But House Bill 357 was brought to me by the LRC staff to revise wording, that language in some of the statutes that had apparently not been done for decades. I will quickly just give you a couple of the examples. Again, there's
Motion on the bill.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, there's a motion and a second on the bill, or is there any discussion?
I will be glad to, Representative Graham. I have got 4 pages of them if you would like a copy of them. But a couple of examples is things like this. Changing the wording from Economic Development Cabinet to Cabinet for Economic Development. Things like changing Commonwealth attorneys to Commonwealth's attorneys. Changing Department of Public Health to Department for Public Health. Would you like for me to continue, sir? Okay, thank you. That is primarily what they are all consisting of.
Representative Ojanowski, did you have a question?
Just a quick statement.
Yes,
I did
ma'am.
look through all 344 pages, and
Yes,
I did not find anything that was concerning. So,
Neither did I, man. Neither did I. I think the one that was the biggest one was when they changed website to 2 words. That was really a tough one to get with right there, but thank you.
Any more discussion? If not, Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Representative Bojanowski,
yes.
Representative Bowling, Representative Bratcher, Representative Chester Burton,
Yes.
Representative Duvall, Representative Graham,
Yes.
Representative Heath,
Yes.
Representative Hevron, Representative Herron, Representative Hodgson,
Aye.
Representative Huff,
Yes.
Representative Imes,
Yes.
Representative Johnson,
Explain my yes vote. Kidding. Just kidding. Yes.
Representative Maddox,
Yes.
Representative Rawlings,
Yes.
Representative Tate,
Yes.
Representative Tipton, Representative Williams,
Yes.
Representative Witten, Representative Hale.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, 16 yes votes and 0 no votes. House Bill 357 passes with favorable expression. Thank you, Representative.
Thank you,
Chairman
Madam
Hale.
Chair. Thank you, committee members, for that overwhelming vote of such a controversial bill there. Thank you so much.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is House Bill 401, also sponsored by Representative Hale. I guess you could identify yourself again, Representative Hale, and proceed.
I certainly will. Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, Representative David Hale from District 74. Thank you, committee members and Madam Chair. House Bill 401 is something of somewhat, certainly a little more serious nature. House Bill 401 was, I was approached by the Kentucky State Police Organization, and this is basically just a reorg in a couple of their departments. Kentucky State Police are certainly an organization here in this Commonwealth that every one of us are so proud that we can support and honor and appreciate their work so much. The only thing that they actually requested in House Bill 401 was to make a change, and that change was the only change in that was just a couple of wording changes to add a position that allowed them to add someone to basically monitor their body camera footage that they had, and also someone to monitor the different aspects of open records, a request that they had, and a position was going to be created for that. But that position would be named by the KSP commissioner. But in my conversations with them, there was no fiscal impact on this. This was going to be funded by the monies that they already had, so there was going to be no fiscal impact at all to their budget. So that's basically what the bill was, to add that position to monitor a couple of different things that they needed more help doing.
Second.
There's a motion and a second on the bill, and I think there's a question. Representative Graham?
I just want to, I looked at that provision,
Yes, sir.
that section, and it talks about the commissioner.
Yes.
And shall report to the executive director of the Office of Technical Services. Is that part of that position?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir, that is.
All right.
Yes,
And
sir.
that would be a normal appointment by the commissioner?
Yes, sir.
to
That would be a normal appointment by the KSP commissioner.
Just wanted to make sure
Yes,
that's
sir.
clear. Okay.
Thank you. That was a good question. Actually, I contacted them to make sure that was exactly what that provision was there.
Okay, thank you.
I don't. Is there anyone from KSP here today? Yes. Am I correct? Would you like to add anything, sir? Is there? Okay. I'm sorry. I thought there was going to be someone here, and I apologize for not bringing you to the table with me. But
Well, you did well.
okay. Thank you.
Representative Heath, did you have a question? Does anyone else have any questions? Yes, Representative.
Just so people know, this is dealing with the body cameras the state police are starting to wear. Will all the troopers be equipped with body cameras, or is there we're going to build up to that, or when will that take place?
I may have to defer to my KSP. Yes, please come, sir. That is a question Representative Tipton and I will defer.
I'm Captain Brad Arterburn, currently commander of the Criminal ID and Records Branch. Not all troopers will have body cameras. Right now we're planning on getting 780, so that will cover all the road troopers, sergeants, and then a lot of the specialized branches like DESI, E-crimes, things like that.
If there's no further question, we'll have Madam Secretary call the roll.
Representative Bojanowski,
Yes.
Representative Bowling,
Yes.
Representative Bratcher, Representative Chester Burton,
Yes.
Representative Duvall, Representative Graham,
Yes.
Representative Heath,
What number is that?
Yes.
Representative
I
Heverin,
missed that.
Representative Herron, Representative Hodgson,
Aye.
Representative Huff,
Yes.
Representative
Okay, yeah,
Imes,
Yes.
Representative Johnson,
Yes.
Representative Maddox,
Yes.
Representative Rawlings,
Yes.
Representative Tate,
Yes.
Representative Tipton, Representative Williams,
Yes.
Representative Witten, Representative Hale.
Yes.
With the 15 yes votes and no votes, House Bill 401 passes with favorable expression.
Thank you,
Thank
Madam
you.
Chair. Thank you, committee.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Imes, so very much for that right there. Moving on, we have one more item on the agenda, but before we proceed to that item, we do have a couple of members that have came into our meeting at this time, and give me the numbers of those, and I will give me the numbers of each vote, or each number of the bills we've done. We have House Bill 329. You may both record your vote on that bill at this time.
Okay. Yes.
Yes.
House Bill 357.
Yes.
Yes.
House Bill 387.
Yes.
Yes.
House Bill 401.
Yes.
Yes.
House Bill 500.
Yes.
Yes.
House Bill 587.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Each one of those members has recorded a yes vote on those 6 previous bills. We will move to our last bill on the agenda, and that will be House Bill 506 with Representative Walker Thomas. Representative Thomas, please come to the table. Representative Thomas, please introduce yourself, and if you don't mind, have each one of your guests at this time introduce themselves.
I will do so. Thank you for having us, Mr. Chairman. My name is Walker Thomas. I'm District 8 down in Western Kentucky, where a few of y'all are from. See some friendly faces and locals down in that area. But I'll let my guests introduce themselves, and then we'll proceed.
Sean Butler, Executive Director for the Kentucky Police Chiefs Association.
Brianna Carroll, Director of Public Affairs for the Kentucky League of
Could
Cities.
you please pull that over? Yes, thank you.
Brianna Carroll, Director of Public Affairs for the Kentucky League of Cities.
Brian O'Neill, Legislative Director of the Kentucky Professional Firefighters.
Thank you all for being with us today. Representative Thomas, the floor is yours on House Bill 506.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So how this bill came about is some of my local police and firefighters have came up to me and said, listen, we're getting ready to retire. Well, they were still pretty young and said, we've heard of this program in other states called DROP, Deferred Retirement Option Plan. And so we originally looked at that. Brianna and everyone worked really hard on trying to put the numbers together and try. It came back with a pretty huge cost to the state. So we pivoted a little bit. So PLSO is a it's a pension lump sum option plan. So we went from drop to plop. No pun intended there, but that's kind of what that's called there. So this has been vetted in PPOB and with Chairman Johnson and his crew. It's vetted, in fact, 2 different months. We kind of had one option and went to this one. So it has been vetted. But House Bill 506 creates a partial lump sum option for the CERS, KERS, SPRS, and it gives them flexibility for a portion, so they could take a portion of their benefit as a lump sum payment at time of retirement. So if the members choose to receive the lump sum distribution, their monthly retirement benefit would be reduced on an actuarially equivalent basis to reflect the PLSO distribution. PLSO also changes the way the benefit is paid to the retiree, not the value of the benefit over their life expectancy. So this is money already set aside that's theirs. It's just allowing them to draw some of it. This bill also aligns all breaks in service for retirees, which we do have scattered. Some it's 30, some it's 60, some it's 90 days. And this just lines everybody up to 1 month, 30 days, which many other states have already done. Let's see. Basically, they're going to put a calculator on the website. So if you were to retire and you wanted to know, say, hey, I want to take out $50,000, this calculator would sit there and say, okay, I might have to work 2 more years to get my same pension payment, but I could take the $50,000. It is still subject to full taxation at that time. So does anyone have anything else to add, or? All right, we'll be glad. Oh, thank you.
There has been a motion and a second on this specific bill. Is there any discussion or questions? Representative Tipton, go right ahead, sir.
I apologize, Mr. Chair. I've been full of questions today.
That's quite all right. Go ahead.
And I am on PPOB, and we did vet this and review this. Just so everyone knows, will this add any actuarial cost to the pension system or increase the unfunded liability in any way?
Literally, the actuarial analysis, which will be on your computers by the time it hits the floor, has no impact all the way down the line. So there will be no impact.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other discussion? Representative Rawlings, go right ahead, sir.
Would you elaborate, please, on how it affects younger, like firefighters, the difference between someone who's, say, over 50 or near retirement and somebody who's going to 4 years?
I'm going to defer to one of them on that one.
Sure. So what this is really just an additional option upon the time that a person chooses to retire. So if they're thinking about it and they know that they would have to reach retirement eligibility. So, 20, 25 years in the system, depending on when they were hired. And at that point, if they're looking to have a nest egg when they leave, they would have this option to take, say, 12 months of payments, it's actually in multiples of 12, so 12, 24, 48, whatever months of payments, and then their monthly payment would be reduced accordingly. But the good thing about this calculator that adds that, it allows a little bit of extra. One of our pension experts in the room even told me that people tend to make bad decisions when they have bad information. Well, this gives that member extra information about exactly what that reduction would look like, and they can start pre-planning their retirement ahead of time.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other discussion? Seeing no further discussion, do we have a motion? We do have a motion and a second on House Bill 506. Madam Secretary, please call the roll at this time.
Representative Bojanowski.
Yes, and we did get a copy of the actuarial analysis in our packet.
Representative Bowling. Yes. Representative Bratcher. Representative Chester Burton.
Yes.
Representative Duvall. Representative Graham.
Yes.
Representative Heath.
Yes.
Representative Heverin. Representative Herron.
I gotta go.
Representative Hodgson.
Aye.
Representative Huff.
Yes.
Representative Imes.
Yes.
Representative Johnson.
Yes.
Representative Maddox.
Yes.
Representative Rawlings.
Yes.
Representative Tate. Yes. Representative Tipton.
Yes.
Representative Williams.
Yes.
Representative Witten. Representative Hale.
Yes. House Bill 506 has 15 yes votes, 0 no votes, passes with favorable expression. Thank you, Representative Thomas, for your bill and your guests that are with you today. Thank everyone for your time this afternoon. The meeting is adjourned.